Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is essentially the final week of the semester. We got a couple of days next week, but for the most part, we are at the finish line. Now, you may notice the bookshelves behind me are a little empty. That's because I am in the process of moving. So they'll be empty for next week's video as well, because I haven't moved yet. But I'm in the process of packing for it. So we're going to finish up strong. We're going to finish up with The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, one of my all-time favorite plays. I actually saw a performance of The Importance of Being Earnest in Atlanta about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was so funny that I was laughing so hard I could hardly breathe. I mean, that theatrical group actually did a fantastic job with putting that play on. And so I think that you're going to enjoy this play as long as you understand what it's about. Oscar Wilde was a very colorful character. He was openly bisexual in a time when that was not allowed, and he ended up serving some prison time for it because he had developed a little crush on a guy who happened to be the son of a prince, and the prince had him arrested and prosecuted, and Wilde did about 2.5 years of hard labor, and he was never the same after that. So it kind of gives you an idea of what life was like then compared to now. But he was a very talented writer, and he was very, very insightful about society. And you're going to see that insight in Earnest, because there are several themes that I've asked you to choose from to write your paper. One of them is name, how important a name is, because you're going to find that for Jack, the fact that he doesn't know who his parents are is going to cause him no small amount of trouble. In fact, it causes him a great deal of trouble, and to the point where Lady Bracknell will not allow him to marry her niece, which he's madly in love with. Then there's the false identities of Bunbury and of Ernest Worthing. So those are that's a theme, the dual identities that these two characters take on, and again that goes back to name as well. Then there's the making fun of society. There was something called a leisure class at the end of the Victorian period. And by the way, this reading is in your Victorian book. This leisure class, if you will, existed just to have fun, just to spend money. And a lot of times these people in the leisure class would end up running out of money because they were spending it faster than they were making it. And that's going to be what Algernon's big problem is. And it's not played up as much in this play as it could be, but it's there. It's a factor in the events of this play. So you got that, and then I've got a couple of other options in there for you as well. It is a nonsense kind of play. It is nothing that happens in this play is very realistic, and that's by design. It plays just like Lewis Carroll with his Alice in Wonderland stories. So all this, people would never say what these characters are saying. That's the whole point. The point is nobody would ever say these things. So as you read this and you're rolling your eyes going, oh gosh, I can't believe that character said that. Well, that's what Oscar Wilde wanted you to do. And if you can see it happening on a stage with actors really saying these lines, it's something to behold. It's very funny. Don't be put off by the page count on this. It's a lot of pages. It's more than anything else we've ever read. But it's a play, so it reads a little bit more quickly. It's not like, you're reading Mary Wollstonecraft again. That many pages of Mary Wollstonecraft might be a little bit much to ask for. But that many pages of a play, a very entertaining play, I think is doable, especially since you have not until next week, but until the following Tuesday, which is December the 4th, to get this done. So that gives you, I think, 10 days. Read one act a day if you have to, and then make your little notes. Also bear in mind that I'm asking for 5 paragraphs in this final paper instead of just 2. And the reason for that is that this is a much more involved play, and I want to see that you can give me an introduction, 3 good body paragraphs, and a conclusion. You may need to review that stuff from your English 1101 and 1102 classes to remind yourself, what is a thesis statement? Or remind yourself, what is the purpose of an introductory paragraph? Or how do I wrap up a good essay? And I have some hints in the paper that I've given you. I've given you 5 points that will help you write a much better paper. Pay attention to those because they can help you get a much better grade on this. I'm going to expect a little bit more out of you. I'm going to want about a quote per paragraph in paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, which are the 3 middle paragraphs. But I want you to choose them wisely, and I want you to make sure that those quotes help your point. So whichever question you choose to answer, you should have plenty of options for quotes to choose from in that. So that's it. Let us finish with a very entertaining, very funny play. Let us have fun this last 10 days. And once you've got this paper written, and you've taken the reading quiz, of course, which is, I think, 15 questions or 16 questions. Once you've taken that reading quiz and once you've submitted that paper, you're done with me for the semester. Most of you are doing very well. If you're turning in all your work, most of you have either an A or a B in this class. So I'm very pleased with that. So finish up strong with this paper. You can maintain that A, maintain that B, or maybe raise your grade a little bit if it's not as good as you want, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy reading The Importance of Being in Earnest by Oscar Wilde.